ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के इस
We welcome all of you to today's class on Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
हम अध्ययन कर रहे हैं
We are studying
तृतीय अध्याय के
third chapter,
श्लोक से।
verse 3 onwards.
तो इस अध्याय के पहले दो श्लोकों में अर्जुन ने
In the first two verses of this chapter,
शंका प्रकट की भगवान के लिए।
Arjun expressed his doubt to Bhagavan
चेत कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धि जनार्दन तत्किम कर्मणि घोरे माम नियोजयसि केशव। कि अगर आप
that if
बुद्धि को कर्म से
you
श्रेष्ठ
consider
मानते हैं,
buddhi to be superior to karma,
कर्म में क्यों लगते
then
हैं?
why are you engaging me in this ghastly karma?
दूसरा अध्याय सुनने के बाद में अर्जुन
After hearing
मन में
second chapter,
भाव आया और ऐसा
Arjun
समझा
got this feeling in his mind and he thought
युद्ध में लगाना चाहते हैं और
that Bhagavan wants to engage him in war, and that is why Bhagavan is giving all that logic.
कर्म से श्रेष्ठ है और बुद्धि
But he himself is telling that buddhi is
भगवान ने
higher than
कहा था,
karma yoga, and Arjun is interpreting buddhi to be jnana yoga.
तो मैंने तक जो भी कहा है 11वें श्लोक से 30वें श्लोक तक,
At whatever I have spoken till now, from 11th verse to 30th verse,
कही है, और
in
अब आगे
Sankhya Yoga it is called Buddhi,
कहूंगा तो वहाँ
and now I will explain Buddhi to you in Karma Yoga. So generally,
पैदा हो जाता है।
people think that Buddhi to be Gyan Yoga, and then they get the wrong meaning. Bhagavan is explaining equilibrium, equanimity of mind to be Buddhi.
योग की है और एक ज्ञान योग की,
And there are two paths, one is Karma Yoga and one is Gyan Yoga. Stability of intelligence is required in both. That's what Bhagavan meant. But Arjun misunderstood Bhagavan, what generally happens. And in the previous class also I had explained this, that whatever we understand when the other person speaks, then
अपनी आसक्तियों से प्रभावित होकर उसको समझते हैं।
we interpret them based on our samskaras, our desires, our subconscious impressions.
स्थायी भाव भी हो सकता है, यानी कि प्राय करके भी हमारा इस प्रकार का भाव हो सकता है, और कभी कभी
So it may be our general feeling, or sometimes it may just be situational. It may be a feeling of anger or love, then we interpret differently. So Arjun also had this feeling that these are our relatives, and that was because of his attachment. He was thinking this will be great sin to kill them. So he asked Bhagavan, why are you engaging me in this ghastly karma? And Bhagavan explained that this is your dharma. And for a Kshatriya, what is better to engage in warfare for dharma? Later, when he will explain about the dharma of the four varnas,
और युद्धे चाप्य पलायनम, युद्ध में पीठ दिखाकर ना भाग जाना,
that it is the dharma for Kshatriya to engage in war and never to run away from battle. Because Kshatriya fights war for social equilibrium, to maintain the society, to maintain dharma. Those he fights against the evil elements of society. The Kshatriya has to protect the public from these evil elements. This is the duty of king, to maintain law and order in the society. It is his duty to ensure that the society functions properly. But now, because Arjuna's bhava had changed, and seeing his opponents, and he got this feeling that these are actually my relatives, so he was thinking this war will not be correct. So Bhagavan is explaining, he is giving answer to Arjun, and his answer is perfect, but Arjun will still not understand his answer. When we have some attachment, then it becomes very difficult to understand what the other person is speaking. If what he is speaking is not matching our preconceived notions, when somebody speaks against our preconceived notions, then it does not fit properly in our intelligence. It may take a long time to understand. And that is what happens with Arjun also. So Bhagavan is telling again clearly here, as he had told earlier also.
अब योग में सुनिए, मैंने सांख्य में बोली है।
He said that I explained through Sankhya, now you understand by yoga.
पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघा ज्ञान योगेन सांख्यानाम कर्म योगेन योगिनाम। श्री भगवान
Translation. Shri Bhagavan said, O sinless Arjun, I have previously enunciated two types of spiritual fixity that are available in this world. The Jnanis or the Sankhya Yogis, proceeded by the path of knowledge or Jnana Yoga, whereas the Karma Yogis progress via the path of action without selfish motives or Karma Yoga. So actually Nishtha or spiritual fixity is one only, but it has two types or two paths. Spiritual fixity or Nishtha means to have firm faith in something or someone, to be fixed up in some understanding, to understand that it is right. So that is one only. So Nishtha is Nishtha, it is one only. Spiritual fixity is one only. But primarily you can classify in two divisions. Like karma has is of two types, Sakam and Nishkam. There are so many karmas. You do yagya, japa, parikrama, you give charity, you plant trees, you give water. There are so many religious activities, so much karma. But karma is broadly divided in two categories. One is sakam and other is nishkam. One is with fruitive motive and one is without fruitive motive. So similarly, nishtha is originally one only, and every person has nishtha or fixity in something.
श्रद्धामयो अयम पुरुषयो यश श्रद्धा एव च। तो श्रद्धा भी वही है, श्रद्धा भी मतलब
So
जहाँ आपका
shraddha
विश्वास है, जहाँ
or
आपका
faith is
मन स्थिर
one
है,
only.
निष्ठा श्रद्धा एक ही बात है।
In whatever you are fixed up, that is your shraddha.
हृदय के अनुसार होती है,
So Bhagavan explains that is according to the state of our heart.
गुण है वो किस प्रकार का है,
It
सात्विक
depends on what type of guna
तो अगर
we have. Is it sattva in rajas or tamas?
निष्ठा
So
ज्ञान
if
होगी,
we have predominantly sattva guna, then our nishtha will be in knowledge,
ज्ञानम
in jnana.
रजसो लोभ एव च। और राजसिक और
If we
तामसिक
are
से अगर
predominantly in rajogun, if our heart is predominantly influenced by rajogun, then our fixity will be in karma.
लोग बोलते हैं, तो उसके लिए कर्म योग है।
So for that there is karma yoga.
तो भगवान ने बार बार अर्जुन को युद्ध करने के लिए
So
इसलिए
time and again Bhagavan has been explaining to Arjun that you should engage in war.
अधिकार है, क्योंकि प्राय
He
कर्म
told that your adhikar, your eligibility is in karma,
राजसिक गुणों से प्रभावित
because mostly people in this world are predominantly influenced by rajas and tamas. There are very few rare people who are predominantly influenced by sattva. Like if you have a pyramid,
को ऊपर समझिए,
so you can consider sattva to be at the top of the pyramid. In middle is rajas and the bottom is tamas. So mostly people are in
तो
tamas
इसलिए उसका एक मार्ग
and in
बताया है।
rajas.
ज्ञान योग में भी अगर आपको जाना है तो वो
So for that Bhagavan has given a path that even if you want to enter Jnana Yoga, you have to go through Karma Yoga. Like if you have to go to the upper floor, then you have to go through the lower floor.
सीढ़ियों से चढ़ के जाएं, चाहे लिफ्ट से जाएं, जहाँ पहली बार
Whether you climb up the staircase
करना ही पड़ेगा,
or even you go through the elevator or the lift, you anyway have to cross the lower floor. Even if somebody is pulling you up, tying by a rope, still you will go from lower to upper only.
दो प्रकार की है,
So Bhagavan is telling that Nishtha is of two types. It is Nishtha is one only.
प्राणी है और उसके अनेक
Like human being is one human being, but there
हैं, स्त्री और पुरुष।
are different types. You can like say there is man, there is woman, then you can sub-classify them.
वैसे संसार होता है, लेकिन लोक का मतलब शरीर भी होता है।
As such, lok means samsara or world, but lok also means body.
इसमें हम बैठे हुए हैं,
That means this body in which we are situated, according to the guna of the body, nishtha or spiritual fixity is of two types. That is Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga.
एक्सट्रोवर्ट। तो प्राय करके लोग एक्सट्रोवर्ट होते हैं, बहिर्गामी,
So mostly people are
जिनकी अंतर्दृष्टि रहती है।
people are extrovert, but very few people are introvert.
सत्व जो है वो आपको वैराग्य और ज्ञान देता है,
Sattva gives you vairagya and jnana.
विरक्ति लाता है सात्विक गुण। आप ज्यादा इधर उधर
Sattva, it brings renunciation. You don't like to run around here and there. You just like to be peaceful.
रजस वो क्रियात्मक होता है,
And Rajas is more action oriented.
क्रिया करोगे तो उसका फल आएगा, उसकी
And when you perform action, then you get result
जो आपको प्रवर्तित कर।
according to the desire with which you performed the action.
तो इसी का वर्णन भगवान यहाँ पर करते हैं।
So that's what Bhagavan is explaining here.
इसमें एक शब्द प्रयोग करते हैं,
And here he uses one word, anagha, for Arjun.
जिनको कहते हैं निष्पाप।
He is telling Arjun that you are sinless.
पाप
Agha means pap or sin,
अधार्मिक कृत्य
means one who performs irreligious activities. They are known as sinful,
तो अर्जुन
or irreligious activity is considered sin. That goes against Shastra or Dharma. So Arjun is referred to here as anagha,
ये है
sinless.
शास्त्र
So what does it mean? One is that
नहीं समझ सकते,
Shastra can be understood only by sinless
श्लोक
people.
है
There is a
ब्रह्म
verse
पुराण का
in
तावद
Brahma Vaivarta Purana.
मलिनम हृदयम तावद एव ही न सत्य शास्त्रे बुद्धि स्यात् सद्बुद्धि सद्गुरु तथा। तो कहता है कि जब तक हमारे
So this
हृदय में,
verse of Brahma Vaivarta Purana means that as long as our
जब
chitta
तक हमारे
is
हृदय में
polluted
पाप के
by
संस्कार
sinful
रहते हैं, हमारा
samskaras,
हृदय मलिन रहता है,
till that time our heart is
उसके
impure,
कारण जो है फिर
and due to this impurity of
वस्तु को
sinful
जो है
samskaras,
वैसा नहीं देख सकते।
we cannot see any object as it
जब
is.
आप कुछ सुनते हैं तो उसका जो
Like when you hear
अर्थ है,
something,
उसका तात्पर्य,
then what is the real
वक्तव्य है,
import
जिस
of what you are hearing?
इच्छा से वो बोल रहा
The
है, वो
desire
समझ
with
नहीं
which the
आता।
speaker is speaking, that cannot be understood
वो
by
ऐसे
you.
समझिए कि जैसे अगर दर्पण
It
एक
is like
मलिनता
if there is dust on the
उसमें कुछ
mirror,
धूल जम जाए तो फिर आपको अपना चेहरा उसमें स्पष्ट दिखाई
then
नहीं
you
देगा।
cannot see your face clearly in that
तो इस
mirror.
प्रकार हमारा हृदय भी एक
Similarly,
प्रकार से दर्पण के
our
अनुरूप है।
heart is
चेतो
like a
दर्पण
mirror.
मार्जनम, चैतन्य महाप्रभु
Like
कहते
what
हैं
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said,
कि
Cheto
हमारे
Darpana
हृदय
Marjana,
जो है वो
that
दर्पण के
Cheta means
समान
the heart, which is like a
है।
mirror.
तो उस पर अगर धूल जमी हो
So if dust is accumulated on the
तो जो भी
mirror,
संसार में
then
देखते हैं,
whatever
सुनते
we
हैं,
see in this world or
तो
we
जैसा
hear,
वो है वैसा नहीं देख पाते,
whatever it
वैसा
is,
नहीं
we cannot
समझ
see
पाते।
it exactly like that.
और
We
जैसे
do not
जैसे
understand
हृदय से
it in truth.
धूल उठती जाती है, सफाई प्राप्त की,
Just
वैसे वैसे
like gradually as our heart
उसका
becomes
जो
clean,
ज्ञान है, उसमें जो
then
प्रतिबिंब
we
है
start
वो स्पष्ट दिखाई
understanding
देने
the
लगता है।
reality.
तो ये एक कहने का उनका अर्थ है यहाँ
This
पर
is
कि
one
हृदय को
thing,
जो
this
अनंग
is
होना
one
चाहिए।
meaning what Bhagavan wants to convey
इस
by
बात को
addressing Arjun as sinless.
क्योंकि
Point
जो
is that Bhagavan is telling that you are eligible to
जिसके द्वारा
understand the
जिसने
knowledge that I am imparting.
बीज डाला है,
Because when
वो बीज जो
if
है
you are giving knowledge to an ineligible person,
तो
then it
इसलिए
is like sowing a seed in a barren land.
अधिकारी
That
को ही
seed will not
देना
fructify.
चाहिए।
That is why knowledge should be
अधिकारी
imparted
को
only
देने
to
से
eligible people.
या तो उसका
If you
ज्ञान
impart
नहीं होगा
knowledge
या
to a
उसकी
person who
मेहनत
is not eligible, who does not have the
सफल नहीं
adhikar,
होगी,
either he will
तो आपकी मेहनत बेकार
not
जाएगी।
understand or he will understand
तो ये
in
जो
the wrong
अर्थ
way.
है अनघ
So
का,
your effort will go in vain. So
और
this is
दूसरा
one meaning of
अर्थ
anagha.
है
And the second meaning of anagha
जो है
is
ये एक
that generally what happens is,
मनोवैज्ञानिक
this is from
शब्द
a
है
psychological point of
कि
view. It's a
जैसे बच्चा
psychological
होता है,
truth that
उसको
like a
आप बार-बार
child,
बोलते रहें कि तू
if
मूर्ख
you
है,
keep telling a child that you are a fool,
तो धीरे-धीरे वो मूर्ख ही
then
बन जाएगा,
slowly he will actually become a fool
क्योंकि वो सोचने लगेगा ऐसे ही।
because he will start thinking like
और
that.
जैसा हम सोचते हैं फिर वैसे ही हो जाएगा।
And what we think, like that we become. That you
ये
are
बात समझ में नहीं आती।
a you are a crazy
तो
fellow,
इसलिए
you are
जो
good for nothing, you don't
अनघा
understand
शब्द है,
anything. So like if you continuously
तो
tell
जो अपने आप
somebody
सोचने लगेगा कि
that
शुद्ध बुद्ध
you are sinful, then he will
हम
start
कहते
thinking
हैं
like that.
तुम तो शुद्ध बुद्ध मुक्त आत्मा हो,
And if we tell somebody
शुद्ध बुद्ध,
always that you are pure atma, you are liberated
तो
atma,
फिर वो ऐसे सोचेगा।
then he will think
तो
like
ये
that.
मनोवैज्ञानिक
So this is a
प्रक्रिया है
psychological
कि दूसरे आदमी को किस तरह
process,
से
how
उत्साहित
to
किया जाए।
uplift, to encourage
और
the other
वो
person.
अगर पापी नहीं भी है, जब अपने आप को निष्पाप सोचने लगेगा तो फिर वो पाप करता हुआ डरेगा,
That if that person
क्योंकि हम जो
is,
भी कार्य
even if
करते
he
हैं
is
वो हमारे
sinful, he will be
जैसा हम
scared of performing sinful act.
जैसा हम अगर मैं अपने को चोर समझने लगूं
If I start thinking that I am a
तो मुझे डर
thief,
नहीं लगेगा,
then I will not be
क्योंकि
scared
मैं तो चोर ही हूँ।
of stealing because I am anyway a
लेकिन जब
thief
मैं अपने को
then.
चोर नहीं
But
समझता तो
if
मैं अगर
I do
चोरी
not
करने
consider
लगूं
myself a
कि
thief,
अगर सोचने
then
में तो बहुत
even if
अच्छा
I
है,
think of stealing, then I will be
वैसे नहीं
scared
करना चाहिए।
of doing that activity.
तो इसलिए
That is why
कहा जाता है,
it is said,
जैसे ईसाई धर्म में जो
like
कन्फेशन
in
होता
Christianity,
है
there is the system
कि
of
आप
confession,
चर्च में जाकर
that you
कन्फेस
go to
करें अपने
church
पाप को
and confess your
तो आप
sins,
मुक्त हो जाओगे।
and then you will
तो इसके
become
पीछे मूल
relieved or
कारण
free
यही है
from those sins.
कि आप
So
अपने
this
को
is the psychology
किया
behind that, that if you
जो
have performed
संस्कार है
any
उसको
sinful
हमेशा
activity
वो
and
एक
you keep
बोझ
thinking
बनता
about
है,
that,
गिल्ट फीलिंग
then
जिसको
and
बोलते
you
हैं,
get into guilt
वो बार
feeling,
बार एक संस्कार
then
डालता है आपके अंदर
continuously that guilt feeling
कि
puts the
आप फिर वही
samskara in
काम
you,
करोगे
and
दोबारा से।
because of that samskara, again you
तो
repeat that
इसलिए
same sinful
कहते हैं कि
activity.
आप ये
So in
कन्फेस
order to
करो।
get rid of that samskara, it is suggested that you
तो
confess your sin.
एक तो यह कि दूसरों
So one thing is about confession is that the other person understands that you have done this. So then you will become careful, and the other person will also become careful. And other thing is that you will get rid of that feeling and not think that you are actually like that. But then what happens is people
फिर कन्फेस कर लेंगे, वो सोचते हैं कि इससे तो मेरा पाप दूर हो जाएगा।
people start
तो उसके
thinking like
पीछे
that.
जो मनोविज्ञान है वो समझना चाहिए क्या है।
So we should understand.
उसका मनोविज्ञान यही है कि आपने अगर कुछ
We
गलत
should
काम
get the
किया है,
psychology.
इसका ये एक प्रायश्चित है कि आप जाकर उसको
So this is a repentance.
प्रीस्ट है, पादरी है, उसके सामने
That you go in front of the priest and accept,
और फिर उसके बाद में फिर ना करें उसको।
and then you do not perform that action again.
मनोविज्ञान है ताकि अर्जुन अपने आप
So this is a psychology.
मेरे तो ये समझ नहीं आया है इसलिए मेरे अंदर कुछ कमी है, तो कहते हैं नहीं, आपके अंदर कोई कमी नहीं है, आप सुनिए।
Arjun should not think that I have some deficiency. So Bhagavan is encouraging him that no, you are sinless, you do not have any deficiency. So you hear carefully.
और वो दो प्रकार की निष्ठा फिर उन्होंने बताई हैं, एक ज्ञान
Then
योग,
Bhagavan has explained two types of nishtha. One is of Jnana Yoga, other is of Karma Yoga.
उन्होंने दिए ही थे।
So earlier also he had given a lot of examples for this, and when he was explaining Karmanyevadhikaraste.
बुद्धि योगा धनंजय के बुद्धि दूसरा है। तो कर्म जो है वो वास्तव में बंधन का कारण नहीं होता है।
So karma is actually not a cause of bondage,
अर्जुन ऐसा सोच रहा है,
but Arjun is thinking like that.
वास्तव में बंधन का कारण कर्म के फल में आसक्ति या कर्म में आसक्ति वो ही होती है। कर्म
Actually, the cause of bondage is attachment to karma or the fruit of that karma.
18वें अध्याय में भी विचार करते हैं।
In 18th chapter also Bhagavan will deliberate on that. Here also he will explain that.
इति माम यो अभिजानाति कर्मभिः स न बध्यते। कहते हैं मेरे को कर्म जो है वो बांधते नहीं है। क्यों नहीं बांधते हैं? न माम कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति। क्यों नहीं बांधते हैं?
So he says that karma cannot bind me. Why? Because I do not have any desire for the fruit of karma. I do not have any desire to enjoy the fruit of karma. So what binds you to karma is the desire, the attachment to the fruit of that karma. That is what binds. So if you can get rid of that, then there is no problem. So just like there is cucumber, in India only people do this. Generally, when people eat cucumber, then before that, then they cut off the two ends of the cucumber, because sometimes there is lot of bitterness in that. So they cut it, they put some salt, and they keep rubbing that on the cucumber, and some white substance comes out. So if there is some bitterness in that, then it comes out of the cucumber, and then people consume the cucumber. So in India, almost all the people do like this. So that cucumber, you can understand, it's like the fruit,
लेकिन उसमें कभी-कभी कुछ जहरीला अंश होता
but
है।
there may be some bitter or poisonous element in that. So that does not mean that you just throw away the cucumber, you do not consume that. You just take out that bitter part of that. So similarly, we all know about, we have heard about karma bandhan, bondage. But if we can take out that poisonous part of that, if we can remove that, then that same karma, it will take us to jnana, or it can take us to moksha if it is offered to Bhagavan. Generally, when these two spiritual fixities are explained, it can be understood in two ways. If you do karma yoga, then it will take you to jnana yoga. And second is, if you do nishkam karma and then offer it to Bhagavan, then with that only you will attain perfection.
तो दोनों ही प्रकार से देखा जाता है। भगवान जिस प्रकार से कर्मयोग का
So
यहाँ
it is
वर्णन
seen in, can be seen in both ways. Bhagavan, when he is explaining karma yoga here, he is mainly explaining from the second point of view.
कि कर्मयोग
You can understand it like this also, that karma yoga is the door to jnana yoga.
ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते। और दूसरा ये सोच सकते हैं कि दो मार्ग
Or
हैं,
second, you can understand that these are two separate paths, separate nishtas, which can take us to moksha or liberation.
वर्णन किया गया है।
So in both ways, it is explained in Gita.
इसलिए
That is why
कर्म जो है वो बंधन का कारण नहीं है,
actually karma is not the cause of bondage.
उसमें जो आसक्ति है, उसका जो फल है,
The attachment to the
या
karma,
उसमें जो कर्तृत्व
the
भाव है,
attachment to the fruit of the karma, or the sense of the ego of doership in that,
भगवान ने
that is what
कहीं
binds.
भी कर्म का स्वरूप से त्याग करने के लिए नहीं कहा है।
In Gita, Bhagavan has not told anywhere to give up karma as it is completely.
स्वरूप से त्याग कर दीजिए,
He is not telling anybody to give up karma as it is. When he is explaining Gyan Yoga, there also he is not telling like that.
वो तो सांख्य योग के अंदर ही कहा उन्होंने।
In Sankhya Yoga section only, Bhagavan told Arjun that you fight. And in Karma Yoga anyway, he is telling again and again.
ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम वाप्स्यसि। आप उस ऐसा स्थित होकर आप पाप में लिप्त नहीं होंगे। योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजय। योग में स्थित होकर
He is telling that if you become situated in yoga and perform your karma, so there yoga means the yoga of equilibrium.
बुद्धि को सम रखना,
To maintain equilibrium of intelligence, being free of raga, dvesh, and performing karma. So Bhagavan in both the cases does not speak of giving up karma as it is.
तो कर्म त्याग है, कर्मणो नोपपद्यते। नियतस्य तु संन्यास है, कर्मणो नोपपद्यते। कि जो नियत कर्म है उसका संन्यास वो ठीक नहीं है।
So Bhagavan is telling that it is not proper to take sannyas from one's prescribed karma.
इसका ज्ञान जो है हमको शास्त्र से होता है।
So what is this karma? That is understood by Shastra. What karma we should perform, what we should not perform, that knowledge has to be taken from Shastra. And
शास्त्र ही वास्तव में प्रमाण है इस विषय में।
Shastra is actually the pramana in this case. That's what Bhagavan says.
ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तम कार्य कर्तुम यह अर्हसि। कहते हैं कि इसमें प्रमाण शास्त्र है, क्योंकि
He says that in this respect, what is to be done, what is not to be done, the pramana is Shastra.
शास्त्र बोलते हैं। शास्त्र की एक व्याख्या
That is why it is called Shastra. One explanation of the word Shastra is that which tells us what is to be done, what is not to be done. That is Shastra. And the purpose of telling Karya and Akarya, what is to be done, what is not to be done, the purpose why Shastra prescribes and prohibits is to make us free from the bondage of karma. So actually, Gita teaches us the art of performing karma, how to live in this world, and that is why Bhagavan places a lot of emphasis on karma.
कर्मयोग से कर्म संन्यास से कर्मयोग अच्छा है, श्रेष्ठ है।
He says that karma yoga is superior, much better than karma sannyas, because mostly people are not qualified to do karma sannyas. If they take sannyas from karma, then there will be a complete chaos in this world. One is that they are not eligible, they are not qualified to take sannyas, and because they are not qualified, they will anyway not give up the karma, but they can make a show of being a sannyasi, and anyway they will have to do something because it is their pravritti, it is their inclination, their nature. So nowadays in the spiritual sphere, this is a big problem. This is my opinion, because there is a lot of preaching about spirituality. So many people who are actually not qualified to give up karma, they give up karma and they enter the spiritual path. And especially on the path of bhakti, this is being seen very predominantly because from last many years there has been tremendous preaching about bhakti. There have been many acharyas in the last 500 years, and there has been a lot of preaching of bhakti. So there was a reason behind that, why that happened. But the result, what we are seeing from all the preaching, people say that if you do bhakti, you do not have to perform any karma. And like that, it is told in Shastra also.
चित्ता नाम कर्म योगस्तु कामी नाम। भगवान स्वयं कहते हैं 11वें
Bhagavan
अध्याय में
himself tells in the 11th canto that those who are nirvinna, those who are full of renunciation, for them the prescribed path is Gyan Yoga. Those who are attached, those who do not have the feeling of renunciation, they are eligible for Karma Yoga. And those who are not too attached and not too renounced, for them the prescribed path is Bhakti Yoga. Like this in Bhagavatam, Bhagavan has explained the adhikaris for the three yogas. Here he is explaining two only, but in Bhagavatam he brings the third nishtha, because Bhagavatam speaks much more than what Gita explains. In Gita he is explaining two nishthas only, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, but in Bhagavatam Bhagavan explains the third nishtha to Uddhava, that is nishtha of Bhakti Yoga, and he explains that in lot of detail. So nowadays what has happened, Bhagavan himself has explained in Bhagavatam that one should do karma as long as he has not become totally renounced. If he has become totally renounced, then give up karma and go to Jnana Yoga. And second, if he has got Shraddha in my Katha, then you enter Bhakti Yoga. So that is why there is lot of preaching like this, that if you are doing Bhakti, you do not have to perform any karma. And in Gita also Bhagavan is telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya, that you give up all dharma and take shelter of me. So point is not wrong. The point is correct, but people misinterpret that. So first of all, we have to understand what is bhakti, how it is above karma, and it is above jnana yoga also. But just because I have understood what is bhakti does not mean that I have become qualified for that. I have to check whether actually I have nishtha in bhakti or no. So if I actually have nishtha, fixity in bhakti, I will anyway give up karma. Will not have to endeavor to give it up. Like when the fruit ripens on the tree, then it automatically falls down from the tree. You do not have to pluck it by endeavor. Like the coconut, when it dries, then the outer covering, it automatically becomes separated from the inner one. But in the unripe state, then you have to endeavor to take it out. But when it becomes dry, then even if you shake the coconut, you will hear the voice inside, because the inner part has become totally separated. So adhikari or eligible person means that you do not have to give up karma, karma itself will give you up. So what happens is, let's say we have got little bit interest in bhakti, but we are not totally renounced from karma. Now we have entered the path of bhakti. So already we have that earlier attachment. Now we cannot call ourselves karmi because we have entered the path of bhakti, but our attachment to karma has not gone away. First of all, it is also not clear that whether we have understood bhakti properly or no. This is itself one big problem. Then what is real sharanagati? Actually, if one is taking real surrender, really if one has taken shelter, there itself one is liberated. In Gita, Bhagavan has told that you just take shelter of me, you are already liberated. Just by taking shelter of me. But people do not even understand what is Sharanagati actually. Then where is the question of actually taking Sharanagati? But when we enter the path of bhakti, then what happens is we fall in a very peculiar situation.
तो फिर हम ना उधर के ना इधर के,
We are neither here nor there.
तो ना हम कर्म करते हैं,
Neither we perform karma,
रुचि हुई नहीं है,
nor we have proper interest in bhakti.
मत कथा श्रवणादौ,
Because Bhagavan says that if you have shraddha in the katha,
तो फिर
then you are eligible for bhakti, then you should give up karma. But what happens is we had little interest in bhakti and we give up the karma.
आलस्य की स्थिति है वो,
And that giving up of karma, what we do out of little bit interest in bhakti, it is actually laziness. In the name of, we give excuse of sadhana, but actually we give up karma because of our own laziness. So that giving up of karma is not really giving up, because we still have the attachment to the interest in the we have attachment to the fruit of the karma, although we are not performing karma,
अब उस फल को जो है
but we still have attachment to the result of the karma. So now what we do is we try to derive that same result of karma through bhakti. So this is the problem that we see nowadays in spiritual circles. Then it gives rise to corruption, and what Bhagavan says in Gita is mithyachar,
दबा के रखते हैं,
show off, or it is hypocrisy. So we can neither do those actions explicitly nor we can completely hide it inside. So it becomes a very difficult situation.
घर संपत्ति नासी, मूड मुड़ाए भय सन्यासी.
So this verse in Hindi, it means that if somebody's wife has died and that person becomes starts grieving and he takes sannyas. Somebody lost his wealth, he starts grieving and takes sannyas.
ऐसा करते हैं लोग यहाँ,
People do like this. I live in Vrindavan, so I know what happens.
लोग हैं जो इस प्रकार से संन्यास ले लेते हैं क्योंकि
There are many people who have taken sannyas because they face some problem in the home, some financial situation or relationship problem. So give up everything and let's move to Vrindavan.
धाम जहाँ राज करें राधा रानी, तो यहाँ तो फिर कहते हैं यहाँ कोई भूखा नहीं जाता, राधा रानी सब.
Then they start saying that in Vrindavan nobody is hungry. Here there is Radharani. As when there is Radharani, nobody will go hungry. So these type of people come to Vrindavan.
आसक्ति है वो थोड़ी चलेगी, तो वो
So their attachment to the fruit has not gone away. Then that attachment starts manifesting again after some time, and they start fulfilling that through some so-called this bhakti activities. And this is why there is lot of corruption in the bhakti circle.
वो बोलते हैं
There is lot of hypocrisy.
पूर्ण है.
That's why Bhagavan is explaining here, what Bhagavan is explaining here is very important in 2 verses.
तो कहते हैं न कर्मणाम नारंभात नैष्कर्म्यम पुरुषो स्नुते न च संन्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति. नियत कर्मों का
Translation: without performing prescribed duties, one cannot gain freedom from the bondage of karma or neshkarmya, and a person of impure heart cannot attain perfection merely by giving up prescribed action.
तो यहाँ वो स्पष्ट बोलते हैं कि
So here he tells clearly that until and unless you perform karma, you will not attain neshkarmya. Neshkarmya is Brahma Bhav.
ब्रह्मणो निष्क्रांतम निष्कर्म ब्रह्म. ब्रह्म का एक नाम जो है निष्कर्म है.
One name of Brahma is Nishkarma, because in Brahma there is no karma. Brahma is Nirgun, it is Nirakar.
तो उसको
There is no action in that.
बोलते हैं, और उसका जो
So it is also called Nishkarma, and that Bhava, Brahma Bhav is called Neshkarmya.
वो निष्कर्म जो है वो कर्म आरंभ किए बिगर नहीं होता है.
So without starting
तो उसका मतलब क्या है?
karma, that Neshkarmya Bhava cannot be attained. That is not possible. So the point here is that generally
कर्म करने
human beings have this impetus to perform karma, the action, the energy to perform action. Mainly 2 energies are there. One is of performing action and one is of attaining knowledge.
तो ये तीन, इसलिए तीन ही मार्ग हैं.
And you can say what the third one is of desire. Ichha Shakti, that is Shakti of desire. Jnana Shakti is that of knowledge. And Kriya Shakti is the energy of action. Jnana Yog, Karma Yog, on Bhakti Yoga.
भक्ति योग की यहाँ बात सीधी नहीं कर रहे हो तो
So here he is not talking directly of Bhakti Yoga. He is talking about two things, Kriya and Jnana, action and knowledge.
क्रिया शक्ति हमारे अंदर रहती है
So we have this Kriya Shakti, the energy to perform action. It keeps agitating us. It keeps agitating our chitta
जाकर बैठ
to perform action.
10 घंटा
Like if you tell somebody, go and sit for 10 hours and perform
साधारण आदमी
japa of Harinam.
बैठना मुश्किल हो जाएगा उसके लिए
So sitting 1 hour itself is difficult for a common man. Even if he is doing japa, he will be continuously shaking, dancing. He will not be sitting properly.
आगे पीछे दौड़ता हुआ सिर को हिलाता हुआ
He will keep shaking his head and doing japa,
निषेध
running around and doing japa.
तो जो भगवान छठे अध्याय में बोलते हैं
So this is not
इधर उधर
the way of performing japa, like Bhagavan explains in 6th chapter how to do dhyan. Not agitated, not shaking the body, sitting straight.
इनको सीधा रखना ऐसे बैठ के वो बोलते हैं ना करने के लिए
Bhagavan explains how to sit properly and do dhyan.
तो ऐसे ये ज्ञान योग में ऐसा होता है
So this is how it is done in Jnana Yoga. So in this situation,
कोई व्यक्ति नहीं जा सकता
every person cannot enter or achieve this state.
शक्ति है तो वो
One who has lot of energy of performing action, lot of Kriya Shakti, what will he do with that Shakti, with that energy? He has to do something.
शक्ति मतलब
So Jnana Shakti, the energy to deliberate, energy to sit peacefully, do dhyana, that is a different energy.
के लिए भगवान मना नहीं
So for that, Bhagavan is not forbidding that.
योगी युंजित
For that also Bhagavan says,
एकाकी चित्तात्मा निराशीर परिग्रह कि योगी को जो है सतत एकांत में
he says that a yogi should always sit in seclusion and do dhyana, controlling the mind.
और निराशी को इच्छा ना रखना और परिग्रह ना करना
Should not have any desire, not accumulate anything.
जन संसदे जब ज्ञान की बात करते हैं 13वें अध्याय
When he speaks of jnana in the 13th chapter, what is jnana?
एकांत में वास करना
So he explains that such a yogi should sit in seclusion. He should not have any desire to be in a crowd.
लोगों को कुछ खरीदना नहीं है फिर भी घूमने के लिए चले जाते
There are many people who don't have to buy anything, no shopping, but they just roam around in the markets.
ऐसे व्यक्ति जो है वो ज्ञान योग के अधिकारी नहीं
So these type of people are not eligible for Jnana Yoga because they have this energy to perform karma. That's why Bhagavan is telling that they should perform karma, but the karma should be according to prescription of Shastra. Then what will happen? That Kriya Shakti, that energy to perform action, it will purify the chitta. That means do not performing it by Sakam Bhav anymore, performing it with Nishkam Bhav, without fruitive motive. Then that action will purify the chitta.
नियतस्य तु संन्यासे कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात्तस्य परित्यागे तामस परिचक्षते तामस परिकीर्तित तो अगर आप उस तरह के नहीं हैं
If you are not like that, if you are not sattvic and you give up karma, then it will be a tamasic action.
त्याग का कोई फल नहीं मिलेगा
So this type of giving up of action will not bring any result. It will not lead to Brahma Bhav or liberation or achieving Bhagavan. That will not happen. That's why according to eligibility one should function. So Bhagavan has divided the spiritual fixity or nishtha in two categories and both have different eligibility.
साधकों के अंदर भ्रम पैदा हो जाता है
And that is why the sadhaka gets deluded. He tries to do something for which he is not eligible. Because that is being glorified everywhere, then he starts thinking, I also have to do this. So he should check that despite it being glorified everywhere, is he himself eligible for that or no? So you have to climb to the 7th floor, but you do not want to go through the first 6 floors. You want to directly attain the 7th floor. Then how is it possible? It's not possible. That is why this ladder is prescribed by Bhagavan.
अगर आपके ऊपर चढ़ने की इच्छा है तो
That means
कर्म है
if you want to climb up, then it has to be through karma. That is why Bhagwan is placing lot of emphasis on karma. He is telling about himself also that I am also always engaged in karma. And if we are not eligible to give up karma and we take sannyas, then Bhagavan says that such a person will not achieve perfection through his sannyas. He is telling that simply by giving up karma one cannot attain perfection. Actually, by giving up karma one cannot attain any siddhi. One has to actually give up is the attachment to the karma, to the result. So in karma marga, one has to give up the attachment to the result, and in Gyan marg, one has to give up the attachment to the ego of doership, kartritva. So Bhagavan is explaining these two types of nishtha here. So karma is of two types. Because this question will be raised, what type of karma is he telling here? One karma is varta. Varta is the karma or the actions that we have to perform for sustaining our body or livelihood. Like if you are working in some institution, you get a salary, you are doing agriculture. In olden times, we did not have these types of professions like what we have now, salary based. The earlier people were mostly into agriculture or animal protection or business. So that is called varta. And the second karma, that is the shastriya karma, like doing yajna, doing charity, doing sandhya vandan, agnihotra, doing chaturmas. So generally these four types of yajnas are explained. So these are shastriya karma. So when karma tyag is explained, it is explained in two ways. In Purva Mimamsa, they explain about the second type only. They don't discuss about Varta and all. There is no discussion of your Varta, your business, your job or anything.
रोज रोज संध्या के समय आप उपासना करें, याग करें, अग्निहोत्र करें, तो इसको
So there it is prescribed that daily you do your agnihotra, sandhya vandan, etc. That is karma according to Purva Mimamsa. In Gita, Bhagavan refers to everything as yaga. He is not telling about the yaga of Purva Mimamsa. He is telling doing japa is also yagya, doing pranayam is also yagya. He is talking about all different types of yagyas in the fourth chapter. So his point is that whatever you do it as an offering to me.
यानी कि जो लौकिक कर्म है उनको
So meaning his point is that whether laukik or the worldly actions or the alaukik actions which are according to the Shastra Vidhi like Sandhya Vandan etc. because you cannot see any direct result of those activities. Bhagavan says Bhagavan includes both of them in Karma Yoga. That whatever you do it with the vision of offering to Bhagavan, then it is Karma Yoga only. That is why he refers to everything as yaga.
और याग से ही वो कहते हैं कि आपकी
And he says that by yaga only you will get siddhi, you will become pure. So Gita's vision is little different. The way Gita explains Karma Yoga is different from the way Purva Mimamsa explains Karma Yoga. Actually, the Karma Yoga of Purva Mimamsa is not applicable mostly to people today because for that you have to study Veda, you have to have the Upanayan Samskar, only such people can do. But Gita's Karma Yoga is not that. Gita's Karma Yoga is highly practical. It is applicable to everyone. According to Gita, any person, anywhere, whatever be his varna or ashram or gender, doesn't make any difference.
व्यक्ति जो है
Every person
वो इस योग को कर सकता है,
can
तो ऐसा
engage in karma yoga,
लेकिन ऐसा उसको समझ के जब तक नहीं करेगा
but
तो तब
if he
तक
does not perform it with the proper understanding, he may perform it but he will not get purified.
उसका चित्त जो है जिसमें जो मलिनता है, मलिनता क्या रहती है? मलिनता वो
So then
फला
the
से
impurity is in the heart. Basically, what is impurity? Impurity is nothing but attachment to the fruit,
भगवान से
the sense that I am independent of Bhagavan,
भोग कर
that
सकता
I can
है,
independently
ये
enjoy.
फिर बदल जाएगी।
So if one is performing karma yoga with proper understanding, his vision will change, and then one day he will understand that
तो यही
everything is Vasudev, Vasudeva Sarvamiti.
महत्वपूर्ण
So
देश है,
this is a very important instruction or teaching of Bhagavad Gita, whether you analyze from the point of Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga.
हर चीज में
So
भगवान की उपस्थिति
in
को
everything,
देखना चाहते हैं कि कैसे हर चीज
Gita is teaching how to see Bhagavan everywhere, in everything,
अनन्य योग
and how what is called Ananya Yoga. Ananya Yoga means to see that there is nothing other than Bhagavan everywhere.
अष्टांग हो योग
Whatever yoga it may be, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or whatever, the essence is the vision of Bhagavan, to see Bhagavan everywhere, to not consider oneself independent of Bhagavan. This is the essence.
तो इसी का फिर
That's why it is called yoga.
आगे करेंगे।
So this is what Bhagavan will explain from the 5th verse onwards. We will stop here for today. If you have any question, you can ask.
धन्यवाद बाबा जी।
बोलिए।
निष्ठा की जैसे पहले वाले श्लोक में बात आई,
Question, like in the 3rd verse, there was talk of Nishtha. What we have heard of Adav Shraddha and so on, the Krama of Bhakti. There also there is mention of Nishtha. And if we consider Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asan, then there is mention of Dharana.
हम उसी की बात करते हैं, अनर्थ निवृत्ति के बाद निष्ठा।
So in Bhakti it is said that Nishtha is after Anartha Nivritti.
निष्ठा तो तभी होती है ना,
So answer, obviously Nishtha will be after Anartha Nivritti only. So we have to understand the word Nishtha properly.
इसमें आप एकदम स्थित हो गए, फिक्स हो गए।
Nishtha means something in which you have become fixed up. Your mind will not waver from there.
गंगा गए गंगादास, जमुना गए जमुनादास।
It is not that if you go to Ganga, you're Gangadas, you go to Yamuna, you're Yamunadas. Whatever somebody says, we start doing that. That is not Nishtha. That is not fixed up. That is Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. In that only there is Ghanatarala and all that.
ये सब स्थिति जो है वो अनिष्ट,
all these situations which are explained in Madhurya Kadambini, they are all when we are not fixed up. These are all states of mind wavering. So question, if I try to understand in simple language, then can we say that Nishtha is fixed up sadhana? Yes. Answer, correct. Nishtha is fixed up sadhana. Otherwise, then at the Nishtha stage, you won't waver from your sadhana. Otherwise, what happens? The sadhakas who are not fixed up, they just hear something. Somebody tells them that now there is Bhishma Panchak is coming up. So if you do Bhishma Panchak, then this will happen, that will happen. Because in Shastra, everything is glorified. Taking bath in Radha Kund, that is also glorified, because if you take bath in Radha Kund, you will get prema. Will you get prema by dipping in Radha Kund or no? So then that person will go to Radha Kund. When he will hear glorification of Parikrama, he will do Parikrama. Then he will hear glorification of Bhishma Panchak, he will do Bhishma Panchak. Then you will not be fixed up in any sadhana. You will just keep roaming around. That is why it is important to take shelter of Guru. You have to have Shraddha in Guru.
अच्छा, एक मैंने पिछली वाली कक्षा में पूछा था
Next question. In the previous classes also I had asked this, but I was not able to understand properly. Uh,
माम
the
अनुस्मर युद्धचा तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु। तो यहाँ जो अनुस्मर है, अणुस्मर मतलब बहुत सूक्ष्म लेजर बीम जैसे।
So there, what does anu means? Anusmara. Answer: anu means continuously. Anu actually means after. What comes after? That is called anu. Anu means what comes after. So when you say anusmaran, it means you do smaran, and after smaran you again do smaran. That means continuous smaran.
क्योंकि युद्ध कर रहा है वो, एक तीर में हजार, जैसे बोलते हैं कि एक तीर से हजार तीर निकल करके निशाने लग रहे हैं। तो जरा भी क्या कहते हैं कैलकुलेशन में गलती होती है, या जो भी ये मंत्र है वो तो खैर ऊपर के लेवल की बात है। तो अगर वो भगवान जैसे कंडीशन लगा रहे हैं कि माम अनुस्मर।
So like but the question what Bhagavan is telling anusmara. So now I understood what you explained. Next question.
प्रश्न है नवद्वीप जी का, तत्काल प्रभाव में प्रवृत्त होकर पाप के प्रभाव से हम
How
स्वयं
do
को
we free ourselves from effects of sin or papa and the inclinations with immediate effect? Is it even possible to expect that with immediate effect just by chanting the holy name even once? Answer: yes, you will be freed by taking name once also, but does one chant once also like that? When Shastra says that by Namabhas you get mukti, what to speak of doing Nam? With one name also you will get prema. But do we actually see like that in the practical field? That means what is being told in Shastra and what is our experience, both are not matching. That is what we see, isn't it? In Shastra, so many fruits are described, whether it is for parikrama or nam jap or puja. For everything, the fruit, the result is explained. So there is so much description for Ekadashi, but we do not see the result like that. Then what happens? What we studied in Nyaya Sutra, Anrit, in Vaisheshik, what was explained, that you are telling Veda is Praman, but Veda is telling lie. That is been discussed there. So then he gave example that it is told you do Putreshti Yag, you will get Putra, you will get son, but we don't see that somebody did Putreshti Yag and but he did not get son. So then can it be not said that your Veda is telling lie? So then here also, like you, if you read the Purana, any religious activity is explained, then its glorification is also done. But we do not see the result like that generally. In some cases, they may be experiencing. One who has writing has experience, but the common man doesn't experience this. Then what happens? Then those same people, they lose faith. They do not have proper shraddha. So that is why the solution is you have to understand it properly. Because what happens? People only recite the Mahatmya, the glorification, to generate the interest. But then there are other statements also in Shastra. But they recite only the one side, that is of glorification. But there is the other part also, that if you do it in the wrong way, then you will get 100 times wrong result. Like if you must have heard that if you chant one mala in Vrindavan, it is equivalent to 100. Or some people say 1,000 malas in other places. Chanting one mala in Vrindavan is equal to 100 or 1,000 malas in other place. It is said like that. But it is but in Shastra it is also said that if you perform a sinful activity in Vrindavan, then it is unlimited times more severely it will give reaction compared to doing sinful activities in other places.
धर्म क्षेत्रे कृतम पापम वज्रलेपो भविष्यति। अगर आपने बाहर कहीं पाप किया है,
if you perform any sin outside a tirtha, a religious place, and compared to that, if you perform a sinful activity outside and you come to a sacred religious place and take bath in the holy river, then you get rid of that. But if you do a sinful activity in the tirtha itself, there is no place higher than tirtha. Then where will you go to get relieved of that sinful reaction? Then that reaction will be unlimited times more powerful. So it is Vajralep. Vajralep means Vajra is diamond. Now you cannot pierce that. Then that sinful activity which is done in the tirtha, in the sacred place, it will make your heart as hard as a diamond. It will give such a strong samskara of sinful activity, you will not be able to get rid of that. It will become Vajra, like Vajra of Indra. That means now whatever somebody says, you will not get affected by that. You will continue with your sinful inclination. So then you have to remember that also. So this is the situation. We have to consider all the aspects.
यूट्यूब से एक प्रश्न है, कर्म में
Next question.
तथा कर्म फल में आसक्ति किस प्रकार से भिन्न है?
What is the difference between attachment to karma and attachment to the fruit of karma? Attachment to karma means I have to do that karma. I cannot live without doing that karma. And the other is I want the result of the karma. Like some people are very passionate about performing some activity itself.
यह सत्य है कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने यह
Next question. Isn't it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that one should engage in bhakti, because in Kali Yuga it's very difficult to do Gyan Yoga as confirmed by Arjun in subsequent chapters of Bhagavad Gita? Answer: yes, that's what I said. In the last 500 years there has been lot of preaching of bhakti of not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vallabhacharya, Mirabai, Kabir, Guru Nanak, they all spoke about bhakti only. There have been so many sadhus in southern India also.
ठीक है, चलो प्रार्थना श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत्। एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा। कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः। यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये। भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम। हरि ओम तत्सत।